People's kid, how we doing? I apologize for the makeshift lighting setup, but today I have a great video for you guys. I hope you guys are having a blessed holiday week. I am home for break. Obviously I go to school, but now I am home. So today I'm going to be talking about the Cavaliers and the Warriors game. Man, that game was unbelievable. There's so many storylines. I just want to make a full video on all the different storylines that we learned from the game. So today I'm going to give you 6 major storylines and what we learned as a result of the Warriors and the Cavs game. Of course, Kyrie Irving took care of business, LeBron James took care of business, and it was a fantastic ball game. I can't wait to get into it. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Number 6, Kyrie Irving is an elite point guard. I'm going to get to this one right away because I think it is kind of ridiculous that I even have to mention this. However, this is one takeaway that I had to include simply because of some of the recent articles I've seen on Kyrie Irving's development and his status among the best point guards in the NBA. ESPN's Ben Alamar decided to make an article a couple days ago titled, "Kyrie Irving is good, but not keeping pace with NBA's elite guards." I'm sure some of you have seen this article, but just in case you haven't, he basically argues that Kyrie hasn't kept up with guys like Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden. His basis for this claim is simply pointing out the player efficiency ratings and box plus minuses of the other elite point guards are higher on average than Kyrie's, while also arguing that Kyrie hasn't become a better three-point shooter since LeBron has joined the team, something that makes zero sense to me considering Irving is shooting a career high from 3 this season. But look, I'm not here to hold Alamar's feet to the fire for this lazy, irresponsible article. I just think it serves a great lesson to everyone who relies so much on advanced statistics and box scores to measure how good a player really is. For anyone who caught the game between the Warriors and the Cavaliers last night, I don't think you can say enough about how special Kyrie Irving is in these big moments. He was beyond phenomenal down the stretch in the Cavs' fourth quarter comeback, hitting shot after shot while also making beautiful passes to set up his players all game long. In total, Irving finished with 25 points, 10 assists, 6 rebounds, and a career-high 7 steals. But again, enough with the stats. Just watch the man play. You cannot tell me that Steph Curry is a better player than Kyrie in these types of games. And that's not to disrespect Curry, but I don't think there's another player in the NBA who relishes the opportunity to play in larger-than-life games than Irving. When the game gets more intense and more meaningful, he doesn't just become an elite player, he becomes one of the best players of our generation. Don't believe me? Watch the 2016 finals, or even game 1 of the 2015 finals. So in short, it's not always about the stats, and you really just gotta watch greatness to appreciate it. Kyrie Irving is an elite point guard, and whoever disagrees is simply hating at this point. Number 5, Cleveland will have to win the energy advantage to match Golden State's offensive firepower. After a brief slow start to the NBA season, the Warriors have pretty much toyed with other NBA teams this year, averaging a ridiculous 117.5 points per game to go along with a plus 13.4 point differential. There is not one team that matched up with their ability to put the ball in the basket as a result of having the trio of Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, and Steph Curry. And while the Cavaliers are pretty potent on the offensive side of the ball themselves, they come up a bit short when comparing them against the Warriors. So how did the Cavs counteract this disadvantage in this Christmas matchup? By hustling their butt off. Despite only shooting 38.9% from the field as a team, the Cavs won the effort battle, collecting a total of 18 offensive rebounds to Golden State's 5, and also snatching 14 steals to Golden State's 8. Along with this, it was clear to me and many others from watching the game, the Cavs were playing with an energy and drive that was just superior to the Warriors, shown through diving for loose balls and playing full court man-to-man defense on the Warrior guards. This is how the Cavaliers are going to have to play consistently throughout a hypothetical 7-game series if they want to beat the Golden State Warriors. For all the Warriors' strengths and matchup nightmares, the physical and mental toughness of a team like the Cavs with grit and hustle is one of the few doses of kryptonite for the Warriors. By making the Dubs play through hard screens and generally upping the level of physicality, it forces the Warriors to execute that much more precise in areas such as their ball movement and shot making. If the Cavs deliver an energy performance similar to the one on Sunday afternoon in their future matchup, they will give themselves a healthy chance to take down the Warriors in a potential NBA Finals rematch. Number 4. LeBron is the best in the world, but Kevin Durant makes you think about it. Now let me start this by saying I really think LeBron James is in a tier by himself when it comes to being the best complete basketball player in the world, but Kevin Durant is clearly number 2 and does some things on the court LeBron can only dream of doing. In Sunday's matchup, Durant went full beast mode, erupting for 36 points and 15 rebounds. The manner in which KD is able to effortlessly get to his spots from everywhere on the court is really something to behold, and it felt like he could have gone for a lot more. The Cavs simply had no answer despite rotating a bevy of defenders on him, including Cavs forward Tristan Thompson, who all just watched as Durant hit a combination of pull-up jumpers, spot-up three-pointers, and a myriad of breakaway dunks. When the Warriors signed Durant in the offseason, it became a question as to how other NBA defenses were going to try and defend him while also accounting for Klay and Steph. In this game, the Cavs opted not to double Durant and simply let him go get his buckets while focusing on taking the other Warrior players out of the game. Wait a second. Doesn't that sound familiar to the strategy of a past NBA Finals team going up against the best player in the world? And sure, Klay Thompson went for 24 points, so the plan definitely wasn't foolproof. But in a game that came down in the last shot, the Cavs were successful in quieting some of the other stars on Golden State. Also, for all of his successes throughout the game, Durant still left critics ammo as to wonder why he failed to make a field goal after the 9:37 mark in the fourth quarter. Fading late in a game that Durant dominates is something we occasionally see from the superstar, and it makes you wonder as to why he lets it happen. Is it for the same reason he shamelessly left the team that was one quarter away from defeating the team he decided to join? Is it really a question of his mental toughness? You see, despite all his awards and all his accolades he's received throughout his career, sometimes I think someone needs to remind Kevin Durant how good of an offensive basketball player he is. Because just like there's no reason he doesn't lead the NBA in scoring every year, there's no reason why he didn't make a field goal after 9 minutes in the fourth quarter. Number 3. Is DeAndre Liggins the next Curry stopper? When it was announced J.R. Smith would miss the next 12 to 14 weeks because of a broken right thumb, NBA analysts on ESPN and other sports outlets believed it was a crushing blow to the Cavs' already limited depth chart in the backcourt. And to be fair, it was with good reason. J.R. Smith is a solid two-guard who has proven to be capable of making big shots in big moments while also doing an adequate job of defending his matchup when he's not dabbing up a player on the opposing team. In all seriousness though, JR going down made it that much more important that other guards such as DeAndre Liggins and Iman Shumpert were able to execute against teams such as the Warriors. Well, execute they did, as DeAndre Liggins in particular was absolutely fantastic in making Steph Curry uncomfortable throughout Sunday's matchup. By picking up Curry full court at all times, Liggins made his length, athleticism, and physicality a major hurdle for Steph to hit the shots that he normally does in games with far less intensity. In the game, Curry finished with only 15 points on 4 of 11 shooting and looked disinterested from time to time as Liggins was successful in taking Curry's aggressiveness away from him. If Liggins can continue to give the Cavs minutes like today where he played with the type of energy usually reserved for the NBA playoffs, his presence in the rotation might be able to give the Cavs a newfound sense of grit lost when former Cavs point guard Matthew Dellavedova left the Cavs in free agency last summer. But this can't all be about Liggins. It's now fair to ask why Curry continues to struggle in big game matchups. Along with another poor shooting day against the Cavs, Steph was even benched in the final defensive sequence for the Warriors when head coach Steve Kerr decided to play a little offense-defense.
We're on the floor in the final possession when Kyrie hit the jumper. Does that frustrate you at all? Yeah.
After the game, Kerr told reporters he thinks Steph can make better decisions and urged Curry to make the simple play. While I cannot question Curry's greatness, I am starting to wonder if this is just another bad game or if the Cavs have figured out how to limit his damage. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm genuinely curious about this. Number 2. Kevin Love will be a factor this time around. As most NBA fans know who have followed the Cavs this season, Kevin Love looks like a completely different player for Cleveland this year, as it seems he, LeBron, and Kyrie have really clicked on how to take turns sharing the basketball. On the season, Love is averaging 21.9 points per game and 10.8 rebounds per game on a true field goal percentage of 61.3. He's seen his usage rate go up nearly 6% since arriving at Cleveland, a testament to the Cavs' willingness to get him the ball this year early and often. But having said all this, while I easily acknowledge Love has been nothing short of great for the Cavs this season, I was still very skeptical as to wonder how he would perform in a potential finals rematch against the Warriors. Because last year, Kevin Love had one of the more disappointing performances from a supposed all-star caliber player in recent memory. In the finals last year, Kevin Love averaged a shocking 7.3 points per game and 5.9 rebounds per game as the Warriors were able to shred every ounce of effectiveness away from his game. You see, my biggest problem with Kevin Love is that he relies so heavily on 50-50 foul calls in the paint that are not often going to be called in the NBA Finals. His finishing ability for a player his size is borderline unacceptable as he resorts to James Harden-level tactics and hopes for the refs to bail him out. Along with that, Love has historically been a volume 3-point shooter rather than a knockdown 3-point shooter, as his averages for his career before this year is only average when you consider the average 3-point field goal percentage is around 35%. But before you think I'm going to continue to bash Kevin Love, I was pleasantly surprised from what I saw from him against the Warriors on Sunday. Sure, he wasn't able to finish in the paint and resorted to hoping for the same foul calls I mentioned before, but I felt like he was much more decisive in his approach in this game. Love continued to shoulder the heavy lifting for the Cavs early in the first quarter. As he leads the NBA in first quarter points per game this year, Love can provide time for Kyrie and LeBron to conserve their energy for later in the game. If he's able to continue to score early against the teams like the Warriors and improve a bit on the defensive end, he can remain a dependable spot-up shooter late in games for Kyrie and LeBron while keeping the paint open for them to roam. I just wouldn't want him to face up against Draymond Green in the fourth quarter. That will not end pretty. Number 1, the Warriors are a better team than the Cavs. As much as I hate to admit it, considering I'll never root for the Warriors, I think it's clear the Cavs are still a notch below Golden State when both teams are playing at their absolute peak. Despite a weakened bench from last year, the Warriors still carry the advantage in having savvy veteran guys like Andre Iguodala and Shaun Livingston coming in for the second unit. As a team, the Warriors are far less reliant on superstar performances like the Cavs are, as their offensive identity by nature is to move the ball around and give open looks to their sharpshooters. The Cavs are still going to need superstar performances from their dynamic duo in Kyrie Irving and LeBron James to have any chance to defeat the Warriors in a 7-game series. Looking at today's game, it took an incredible stretch from Kyrie in the fourth and a 3-point barrage from LeBron in the third to keep the game from going away and eventually tilting in the Cavs' favor. And as I already mentioned, Curry was far from his best and the Warriors still held the lead for the majority of this game. Yet the beauty of a 7-game series is that the team led by LeBron James is always going to have a chance against anyone. And considering how Kyrie and LeBron have played in consecutive matchups with the Warriors, it might be time to expect spectacular things from them on a routine basis. Because if they play as high of a level as they did on Christmas Day, they become just as much a problem to the Warriors as the Warriors are to them. Here's hoping to that, because that would mean incredible basketball for us NBA fans. So there it is. Those are my 6 major takeaways from the Warriors-Cavs Christmas Day game. I am so excited for the rest of the season. I can't wait to see what happens. Unfortunately, I really think that the Cavs and the Warriors are going to end up in the finals, so there really isn't much developing in terms of the regular season, but it's still going to be exciting to see what the Warriors and the Cavs look like, if there's going to be any injuries, if the Cavs decide they need to make any trades. Oh, also, I wanted to drop a quick shout out to Richard Jefferson. I know I didn't talk about it in the video, but he had 2 huge dunks in the game yesterday that were just absolutely wild. I went crazy when I saw it. Hopefully I put it in here right now. But it was such a great moment for him and the Cavs in general. So I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Richard Jefferson if you end up watching this, which I doubt. Guys, if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like bar down below. Subscribe if you guys like the NBA. We're going to be doing a lot of NBA videos, a lot of basketball videos in general. I'm hoping to get some footage of the Duke games when I get down there. So take a look out for me and Sam. People's Kid, we're out. Deuces.
Yeah.